staff gets raided due to so much success. You know, it's like happens to the Patriots, happens to the Chiefs. Take a listen.
One thing that we pride ourselves on doing as a staff, and when I say the staff, talking about myself and the coordinators, we always want to coach the coaches. We look for opportunities for the younger coaches to get up in front of position groups and lead meetings and do things, and we give them projects all the time because we're going to win. And when we win, our coaching staff is going to get rated, and people are going to come after our coaches because we're going to win.
Fair point. Brew?
I know everybody expects me to rip this because it's the Cowboys talking about winning again. But I got to be honest. I like what I'm hearing from Brian Schottenheimer.
Huh. Wow.
I like the things he's saying, not just this, but some other things I've heard him say. And I like his demeanor. Like he exudes, and I think he creates like confidence. And I'll say he doesn't sound like a rookie coach to me. Now, it does make me wonder, he's 51 years old, he's been in the league forever. It does make me wonder, why hasn't he gotten a head job before? Not only is he a longtime assistant, but he, you know, is the son of a very good coach, and Marty Schottenheimer, and has other family members who've been coaches in the league. So that's a little baffling, but I got to be honest. Like, and now, I don't think they're going to win. I think they could win 10 games. I just think there's clearly the third best team in that division.
10 would be great.
I would love him with from what I see, with a young team. If it was a young team looking for somebody to build a culture, and he has talked about that, I would like this. The problem is they are a veteran team. They're S-Bob, you know, and they got a quarterback that is a veteran, and we know what he is. We know what Dak is. So that's a challenge. But I got to be honest, I like the way he handles himself.
So you said we know what Dak is. I think this will – did you know that Dak has the worst playoff winning percentage of any quarterback ever?
Ever?
Wait, in league history?
League history. Guys who started at least 5 games. Tim, Alex Smith, and a guy Brew covered.
Well, Billy Kilmer. Billy Kilmer is probably
and
a
so like that's no one ever's 0-5. Andy Dalton was 0-4. And there's and any of the 1-win guys didn't play enough games. And so I understand that this is I get what Brew's saying, which is he's I guess kind of saying the right things. I think that the Cowboys have done a masterful job by having such a bad season and changing coaches, of resetting expectations fully, where Brew just said maybe they win 10 games, and I said, well, look, their over-under said 7.5. That would be great. When going into last year, it was, who cares if they win 13 games if they don't win playoff games, which is fair. It's also, by the way, with the knock on the previous Cowboys star quarterback, Tony Romo who the only reason he's not on there is because he's 2-4 instead of 2-5. Like, so it is, I think Schottenheimer has been fine with the quotes. I am always skeptical of hiring a guy no one else was trying to hire. But then again, that's how I got my job. So and so maybe it works out. But I think that he is looking much further down the road than the Cowboys actually have, like, any realistic opportunity to be looking at.
Okay. I thought it was organizational excellence, though.
What's that? What do you mean?
To start to have a succession plan where it's like, you know what, you are a positions coach, but maybe someday you're our defensive coordinator. I thought it was savvy.
You agree with, like, you like the way he handles himself?
I liked it.
I don't think he does it either with the.
I don't think there's an arrogance.
Yeah, there's not, like we were talking about Ben Johnson, there's kind of a little arrogance there, snobbishness. I don't see that with him.
I agree. Rashee Rice hasn't seen the field since week 4 last year, but he's ready to rejoin a rejuvenated Kansas City receiving squad. Take a listen.
We got a lot of guys. We're deep in depth. Wide receiver group. We're going to be explosive this year. We're just excited to put on the show, to be honest. We know it's going to be a show. The only thing in the way right now is time, so we just wait patiently.
Okay, do you like that?
I like it because I know the question is, do they have something to prove? And the answer is, oddly, weirdly, totally irrationally, Mahomes does. Because even though if we put up all of the active quarterbacks and their regular season numbers, the only guy who has Mahomes pipped in anything is Aaron Rodgers, who's 13 years older than him. If we put up all of the active guys in their playoff numbers, take the next 3 best and combine them, and they're not Mahomes.
Yep.
It's the offseason, which means it's once again doubt Mahomes season. And my friend Sam Monson from the great Pro Football Focus, check out his podcast, Check the Mic, did a whole rant about how Josh Allen is the best quarterback in football now. And if I can steal a line from Twitter, which I will, which is everyone's better than Patrick Mahomes until it's time to be better than Patrick Mahomes. And so I'm at this point, Wilds, when it comes, because the doubt of the Chiefs offense is really a doubt of the quarterback. That's how it always works.
Yeah.
And if someone wants to say Jalen Hurts is better, I'll allow the argument. I think it's crazy because
that's crazy.
No, I guess
I don't think anybody.
No,
saying
Wilds
No, but
doesn't
you
even.
would have
The argument would be as simple as yes. It would exactly.
We ran
so
a race
again,
and I won.
No, so again, bro, I think it's crazy, but they would have at least one thing to hold on to. But it's a weird spot where, because even Wilds, who's a big Jalen Hurts guy, isn't making that argument, just that Hurts deserves more respect. The 3 guys who are part of the supposed Big 4, the other 3, none of them have a single argument. There's not one argument for any of them. Joe Burrow's argument is he was better in the regular season once ever, and his team missed the playoffs when Mahomes was 15-1, and was like that argument. Mahomes has the resume on a game-by-game basis of the greatest playoff quarterback ever, game by game, and second greatest all-time to Brady. Lamar is 1 win away from being on that graphic with Dak Prescott, so he's eliminated. And Josh has played Patrick 4 times in the playoffs, played well in all 4, and has gotten outplayed by Patrick in all 4. And Patrick has been perfect in all 4. And so it's a Patrick Mahomes has something to prove question, which is so bizarre because he's proven more than every other quarterback in the league put together.
Well, look, obviously Mahomes, the bar, the standard that we judge him by is much higher than everybody else. The only real thing I disagree with what you said is a critique of the Chiefs offense is always a critique of Mahomes. 2 years ago, when he had his first mediocre season, we were looking at the receivers. We were like, they're dropping balls left and right. Nobody was blaming Mahomes because they led the league in drops. And last year, you and I both expected him to win the MVP. We picked him for that in the preseason. And he came back with another mediocre season. So I said this before you guys disagreed, but this is like Michael Jordan in his prime, going from 30 points a game to 21, 22. Now, they still win the championship, but they did it more with defense. And he still only gave you 23 points. Like, you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
That's why people are wondering, like, is Mahomes falling off a tad?
So here's my frustration with it. Mahomes, his down year this past year, his passer rating was higher than Josh Allen's 2 years ago when Allen got MVP votes. And and that was Allen. Allen had 92.2.
But Allen does bring the running aspect of it, because Mahomes' passer rating was not high.
No, it was 92.6, I think, and Allen 2 years ago was 92.2.
But don't you agree that Allen kind of supplements that with his running?
Well, obviously, in the regular season, Allen's a more devastating runner. But 2 years ago, the reason I'm bringing this up is 2 years ago, it was the Bills all of a sudden started winning gritty football games by taking the ball out of Josh Allen's hands, running the ball, and it drove him, because they ended up winning 11 or 12 games, to getting MVP votes. Last year, the Chiefs were 15-1 in their first 16 games before they rested in the final week. And Patrick's numbers were mediocre, is what I would call them, and by his standards, the worst, in my opinion, the worst of his career. And he is not judged compared to his contemporaries. He is judged compared to himself. And that's fine.
And Brady, really.
And Brady, and all that's fair if we want to do rankings of the best versions of Patrick Mahomes or the Brady versus Mahomes rankings. But when it comes to the quarterback rankings, and it's like one of these guys who every time when the actual chips are down, Patrick plays in their building or in his and beats them and plays better than him, doesn't beat him because they are handing the ball off 100 times, yeah, that guy's better. I just think it's foolishness.
Chiefs Chargers in Brazil in 81
Where's what about
days.
Trey Hendrickson?
Unfortunately, we cannot get to Trey Hendrickson news. It might be
Is that going to be our new Matt Damon? Can we do a Matt Damon thing for every
Yana,
day?
will the Trey Hendrickson news do numbers?
What makes a carnival vacation fun? A little bit of everything for everyone. Like being this far